cabin, it's quiet. The jets and the noise are behind you.
When it comes to commercial flying, there is a before Eastern Airlines Flight 1320, and there is an after.
Got your tickets?
Eastern Airlines.
When will you be back?
Same day, tomorrow night.
Oh, you mean you'll be home tomorrow?
Yeah, Eastern has a schedule where you go in the morning, come back in the evening.
In the late 1960s, the major airlines catered overwhelmingly to male business travelers, promising them convenience, comfort, and attractive stewardesses.
Want to catch up on some rest? Come fly with Eastern.
Eastern Airlines led the pack with its convenient shuttle service. Passengers didn't need to make a reservation, and they didn't even need to pay for their seat until they were in the air.
Wherever you want to go, call Eastern and ask. Getting home is half the fun.
Flying was not without risks, of course, and in the last 2 years of the 60s, some 50 planes were hijacked. But most of those hijackers had simply demanded that the plane be rerouted to Cuba. This came to be known as skyjacking, and not a single one had ended with a fatality. The airlines viewed skyjacking as little more than a nuisance. Even many passengers felt the same way. And the airlines used all their political muscle to block any requirement to screen passengers and their luggage. That all changed on St. Patrick's Day in 1970. Eastern Shuttle Flight 1320 left Newark at 7:30 in the evening, headed for Boston. There were 68 passengers and 5 crew members aboard. As the flight neared Logan Airport, a troubled 27-year-old man showed a stewardess a gun and demanded to see the captain. At the time, pilots were trained to comply with the wishes of hijackers. In the cockpit, Captain Bob Wilbur asked the man where he wanted to go. He didn't want to go to Cuba. He told Wilbur to fly east and to let him know a few minutes before the plane would run out of fuel. A few minutes later, the man got spooked. He shot co-pilot Jim Hartley and then turned his gun on Wilbur. He shot him, and the bullet tore through both of his arms. Hartley managed to wrest control of the revolver, shooting the hijacker before collapsing back into his co-pilot's seat. Captain Wilbur, bleeding badly in both arms, had to figure out a way to land the plane.
We're on 3100 and you better get the police into the airport. We just had the co-pilot is shot. Get us in a hurry, boss.
1320, I got you. Continue right inbound to the airport. You're 13 miles east. Ident on code 04.
Get an ambulance to the airport also. Co-pilot just discombobulated here. He can't talk or anything. He's passed out. We've been shot.
After Wilbur landed, police stormed aboard with their guns drawn. Then they had to figure out why the mysterious hijacker had done what he had done. Today, few people remember this routine 1-hour flight from Newark to Boston 50 years ago. But it became a grim marker in aviation history, the first hijacking of a U.S. flight to end in a fatality. After Flight 1320, the airlines had to give up their fight against screening all passengers in their bags. The security measures put in place in the early 1970s would represent the biggest changes to flying in history, until September 11, 2001, when tragedy once again struck flights connected to both Newark and Boston.